Okay. Hello. All right. So we have Eliana and Cesar Rodriguez, and I'm so excited. They're going to give you all the goods, all the how-tos, but I think the most inspiring thing is you guys could see somebody now and you see them promote, but you don't know everything it took. You don't remember that, they at one point had to sign their first customer. They had to sign their first distributor. They had to overcome learning how to post. They had to learn how to do personal development. They had to learn how to follow up. They had to learn all those things. And so, Eliana, I want you to just take us all back, because I know sometimes when you're ambassador now, you're like, well, I went diamond and then, but I want you to share like literally wholeheartedly before this business. And you guys, it's so cool because while Eliana has been in this business, literally she met Cesar, got married to Cesar, had her first baby. Like, it's just crazy. It's just so crazy, like how much stuff can happen while you're in this business, and it can grow with you, which is the best thing ever. So let me unmute you. All right. And then I'm going to spotlight you. Okay, go ahead.
Hey guys. Oh man.
Hello.
I'm so excited. I can't believe it. So excited, and still a little nerve-wracking. But okay, so my name's Eliana Rodriguez, and I've been in the business 6.5 years. And my husband, Cesar Rodriguez, before I was Eliana Vargas, for anyone that remembers.
We had to change that real quick, Rodriguez. She said she wanted the ring, so I was like, all right, you get the ring, but I get the last name, okay? So it's Rodriguez.
Well, good thing her Instagram was not Vargas.
It was at some point. So, okay, guys, so I know Christy from back in the day in middle school. I actually never talked to her in middle school. We grew up, I think we went even to the same elementary school. I can't remember. But anyway, so I grew up watching this girl. She was like the dance girl and the dance team and all that. And she'd be walking around school with her big old poofy hair. That's all I remember.
Hip hop moves.
But I never talked to her. She was just one of the dance girls. And I would see her always with the makeup and the dance little outfits and stuff. Who knew that I would end up joining her team and we would do all this? It's amazing. So we all grew up. She went to a different high school. I went to a different high school. Like I said, I never actually talked to Christy, but I don't know how it happened. Either she added me or added her on Instagram. And I started seeing some of her posts, and back then, you guys, it was very spammy looking posts. If you guys ever want to go scroll back, have fun, 7 years ago. But it was a lot of rap posts and like bellies and before and afters and stuff. And what's crazy is that actually caught my attention. So I initially was like right away interested in the raps. I wanted the raps. Now, the raps are not for weight loss necessarily, but the results were just so incredible, and I wanted that. And then it got to one post where I remember one of the posts that really got my attention was she posted something about making $500 a month. And then she had this cute little sign that said like $10,000 bonus when you go diamond. I'm like, yes, I want that. And at the time, you guys, I was working, I've always been a working girl in the sense that I started working at 14 years old. And I've always just wanted more. I've always wanted the extra dollar. Where's the next better opportunity? Where is, what can I do to just have a better future? So I actually was always wanting to work. And anyway, at the time I was a hostess. When I found It Works, you guys, I was a hostess at a restaurant in Las Vegas. And I was already living paycheck to paycheck, you guys, but I was that party girl. I was 21. I was the party girl going, to the clubs, like literally 6 nights out of the week. It's so embarrassing, but 6 nights out of the week, all the time, partying in my high heels. It was all about the newest heels, the newest dress, where are you going to go shopping? What's the new party in town kind of thing. And I started getting really, at first that was all fun and amazing and all, but then it starts getting old. And then you start realizing that you still are hanging out with the same crowd and they're going nowhere. And they're still there doing the same thing. So I wanted to quickly grow up. That's one of those things, you guys, that I've always.
La cruda.
Sorry. Yeah, hungover. That's what that means. I would get to my job hungover. Absolutely. That is really sad. Lots of things that I regret. But anyway, and okay, total squirrel here. And then, sorry, you guys. So I started really I didn't know that I was in a depression, you guys. So at the time I was with an old boyfriend And that was a very unhealthy relationship, you guys. For anyone that doesn't know that part of me, it was a very violent relationship. It was like where I thought where, you know, violence was normal. I really thought that. I thought that that's, you know, kind of as good as it gets, and that I thought I was valuing myself, but I knew that afterwards, deep inside, I wasn't, right. And then, you know, alcohol and all kinds of stuff. I was just with the wrong crowd, you guys. That's really what it was. And the most important thing about all that is my faith wasn't there. I had totally drifted from God. And I grew up, I grew up, my family's always been, very close to God. I've always grown up with a religious family. However, I had drifted away from it. And so I knew that my life was just not going the right direction. And when I found it works, you guys, I literally found it works in my lowest point of my life. I was ready for a change. And that's why it's so important. Like when they talk about people go through those changes like every 9 months or every so often. But I was so ready for the change, you guys. I was hitting rock bottom. I was at that end of that one relationship, and I was really struggling financially, really, really bad. And on top of that, I did not know how to handle my finances. So I jumped on the opportunity, but I didn't even have the $99 to start, you guys. I remember talking to Christy, and I told her I would start as soon as I would get my paycheck. And I did. I had to wait for my paycheck. And that to me was normal, you guys. Nowadays, I think about it, I'm like, man, I remember always being in zeros in my account all the time. And then I had this horrible spending addiction where even if I had $10, like I had to spend it. It's always like that lack of, I don't know, it was weird. But anyway, I jumped on the opportunity, and I remember asking Christy so many questions, and she's like, just stop. She was like, just come to my house with a dream board. And I was like, really? A dream board? I'm like, okay. So I did. I was the girl that came over to her house, and she used to have a lot of meetings, you guys. It was cute. And I came with my dream board, and I told her, she made me present it in front of all these girls, which I don't know if any of these girls are still here. But anyway, I was talking about how I wanted to travel, and I wanted to like finish makeup school. I actually went to makeup school. It's funny. And I had all these dreams, you guys. I wanted to buy a house and all this stuff, but I didn't think much of it. That was like the first time I ever really was introduced to a dream board, because I've never grown up like that, you guys. I grew up with like, go get a degree or go get a job and have, try to get a good life kind of thing. And unfortunately, even though I was still going to college, I dropped off of college. I couldn't do it anymore, couldn't afford it, and I didn't want to once work started to pick back up. So at the time, you guys, thank God I had finished that relationship, because that relationship put me so down, you guys, so down, like to the point where it was just really bad, like really bad. And anyway, I turned to God, and that's when I think so many amazing things started happening, you guys. That's really the first time that I really just welcomed God into my heart and into my life. And I just said, I can't do this alone. I need you in my life, because clearly my plans are not working, and they were so bad. And you guys, I truly still till this day, obviously, I feel it works was from God. It was a blessing, the biggest blessing. I just didn't know how big of a blessing it would have been. And then I started just praying for the right man to come into my life. I really did. And that's when Cesar arrived to my life. In my life, and it's just been the most incredible blessings ever since, because I feel that everything, I've put God in the center of my, not only our relationship, but in my life, and really from just so many of those things. You guys remember that first date? Yeah. That was a cute first date. That's when I knew he was the one. He didn't know, but I knew I was going to marry him.
We met at the most romantic place called Blue Martini nightclub. Okay. So yeah, super romantic.
And oh my gosh. And then just, so many things happened from then, you guys. At the time, my last job, so I went from hostessing to, the last job I had was a timeshare sales agent. So now here's the other thing. I swear God just puts you in the right places to help you, just to help advance you, really. Because when I went into this job, you guys, again, I was always looking for that next opportunity, So I had no idea what the heck I was selling. I didn't know what a timeshare was, but I just went in there with an open mind, and I was ready to hustle. And selling timeshare, I've always said, if you could sell timeshare, you could freaking sell anything in the world, because it's hard. It's hard to sell timeshare. It's basically selling like vacations, but it's just weird. That's not even get into that. But anyway, timeshare is a whole different story, you guys. But anyway, what was the most important and amazing thing about me having that job is that my manager would, because we were in sales, but hardcore sales basically, my manager would start us off every single morning with a motivational video. That's the first time in my life, you guys, that I was ever introduced to anything with self-development. I didn't even know what these were. I'm just like, these are cool, but I had no idea the impact that it was making in my mindset all along. But I was still so naive. Like, I didn't know any of that stuff, you guys. I really didn't know. I didn't know what a self-development book was, nothing. I just knew that he would try to get us in the morning up and ready to be with a good mindset for us to be able to sell. But I didn't know, you guys, for real, I didn't know at the time that a good mindset would help you become a better salesperson. So every single morning, my mindset was changing, and I was bettering myself overall, and I was starting to be better at that job, and at the same time I was starting to kill it with It Works. And so at the same time it was going great, and I became the #1 sales agent of that company. And then I was freaking killing it with the business, and I became a double diamond with It Works. But now let me just kind of rewind all that real quick, because the story to go double diamond, I remember Christy called me once, and it was 2014. You guys, I joined in 2014, and for an entire year, I told Christy, I will not enroll distributors. I will not build a team. This is not me. I don't want to be a leader. I don't think I can. I don't think I have anything it takes. I said, but I will get customers and I will sell my wraps, because that's one thing she taught me from the very beginning. Just go sell your wraps. And I was hustling those wraps like crazy. I even paid my rent for my apartment one time, you guys, literally with wraps, which is awesome. But so in the midst of all that, a whole year has passed. I was still there. I was making like $200 a month. And Christy calls me. She's like, hey, there's going to be this 1 Team 1 mission, which we now call them try-its. She's like, there's going to be this 1 Team 1 mission in December. It was around December time, December, November, I can't remember. And Ashley Sinclair, she's an Ambassador Diamond. She was going to come. And that's the first time I had ever been to an event with all these It Works people. And so I was like, oh my gosh, okay, fine, I'll go. Like, this is exciting. And I remember I went, you guys, with one of my best friends and my mom. So it was me, one of my best friends, and my mom. And we listened to all of these, and we heard all the rubies stand up, all the emeralds stood up, all the diamonds, the doubles, the triples, the presidentials, the ambassadors. And then when Ashley Sinclair went up on that stage and she talked about she was making $60,000 a month, that's when my jaw dropped, you guys. I was like, what? Is that real? And then she has this awesome saying that she tells anybody, like, hey, are you ready to make $1 million? And I remember I told my best friend at the time, like, hey girl, are you ready to make $1 million? Because I am. I don't know about you, but I'm going. Are you coming with me? And she didn't come with me. And it's crazy, you guys. I was like, I'm out. Like, let's do this. And after that event, you guys, I was so fired up. That event changed my entire life, literally, and It Works. And after that event, I was still a distributor rank, and I went double diamond in 60 days. So I decided to start enrolling distributors. It became one of my strengths, actually. I still think that till this day, it is one of my strengths. I'm trying to be more customer based now, but because I know there's lots of butter in there, but I was enrolling so many distributors, you guys, like crazy. And my goodness, I went diamond and double, and I earned a total of $50,000 in bonuses, and my paychecks went like through the roof, you guys. I remember as a double diamond, I was basically making almost $10,000 a month. And at the time, like with fast starts and everything, I remember some of my double diamond paychecks were like $7,000 and higher. And of course, with the diamond and double bonuses, they were pretty up there. So at that time, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm ready to give up on my job. Like, I started slacking on my job, and I started hating and dreading going to work, you guys. And I just wanted to become better and better and better at It Works. That's when I saw the real big vision. And I said, if I could do this in 60 days, what have I been doing this whole time? Like, I could do more of this. But let me just rewind something back real quick. When I earned my first paycheck, you guys, with It Works, very first one ever, it was $32. And that is something that I will never forget. Those $32 to me were like, I was like, wow, this is freaking awesome. Like, I can actually make money from my phone. Like, this is insane. But here's the thing. I want to just touch base on that real quick, because so many people, they're like, wow, $32 or wow, $25, $50, that's nothing. Because they are, and I don't want to offend anyone, but they are, employee mindset, because they're just, basically like, oh my gosh, I put all this time, and if you divide it, and then so I'm really making $1 or less an hour. But that's not the case, you guys. I was building a business, and I knew that that was the beginning of my business, and that it could be higher and higher and higher. So I was always grateful, and that's before I even knew people were making like $60K a month and all that stuff, you guys. That's way before that. I didn't even know how much Christy was making, nothing. I was just so grateful for my $32. And I want you guys to be so grateful for your first paycheck, because it's so crazy. We just heard this in a Zoom the other day. God will bless, if you are thankful for your little, God will bless you with more, a lot more. He will entrust you with so much more. And so I'm so glad that I was thankful for my little, because that little turned into really big. And so anyway, just now fast forward to what I was saying. So I quit my job, you guys, as a timeshare sales agent. And then I said, I want to do this full time. This is it. And at the time, Cesar and I had met, we were dating and everything, and I would show him, you guys. I'd be like, babe, look at all these customers I'm getting.
She had this little notebook, and she would come to me, and she's like, oh my God, I'm running for diamond, and I'm running for double. And she was like, I just signed up so many customers, and she would be so excited. And I was like, that's cool. You know, I didn't know anything about it. I just knew that a lot of people were coming to her. She had this little single bedroom apartment. And I remember that she would have like she would move her couches and have a bunch of people sitting around her living room, and she would do these wrap parties. And when I would come visit her, people were leaving, and I was like, what's going on here? You know, it smelled like formula in there or something weird, you know. And I was like, that's the wrap stuff. And I was like, what is this? You know, I didn't know much, but like I just
eucalyptus?
knew. Yeah, the eucalyptus. That's what it smelled like in there. I was like, they're having a CBD party in here or something.
And you guys, this is something that's really cool. I'm also so thankful for this. Cesar, like, I knew he was the one because he is such a determined man. He is just such a goal-getter. He was working on his career. For anyone that doesn't know, he's a singer. At the time, he was signed to a label, so he was doing touring. He was touring in Mexico, and he was singing concerts, you name it. You know, he had his music videos going on, all that stuff. He was filming. And so he was hustling on his stuff, and I was, you know, hustling in my stuff. And he inspired me so much, because I'm like, holy crap, this guy's so young. He's already owned a house. He's already, you know, he's a singer. He's got all these things going on. But I was like wanting to be, you know, just as amazing. So really, I'm like, okay, like, you work on you, I work on me, and let's figure it out. But I was so, while he was focused, you guys, on tours and stuff, I was so focused on It Works and on just like paying my bills. I was living in my apartment by myself. I was still working and stuff. But then after that, you guys, I remember before he went on one of the last trips, I took him as he wasn't even officially my boyfriend. I took him to the American West Homes model homes, and I said, hey, I want to take you to this one model home. I want to show you the house that I want to buy. And we walked in there, and we were still together. Nothing, like, it wasn't serious yet.
But let me say something. She was like, this is what really made me say, like, okay, this is the one. Because so growing up, my mom also was one of the moms that took us driving around those rich neighborhoods, you know, and say, oh, one day, mijo, we're going to have that, you know. So she always showed us to dream big. So right away, when I meet a girl and we go on a date, and all of a sudden she takes me to a model home, right? We walk into these American West homes, and she's like, this is the house that I'm going to own one day. She just straight up was like, this is the one I'm going to own one day. Boom, boom, boom. This is how many rooms I have. I'm going to put my office here. And I was like, damn, girl, kind of sexy when you do that. But I'm just saying, like, you know what? A woman with a vision, that's sexy. You know, and I remember thinking, like, man, she lived in a one-bedroom apartment. She had a little Rocco, little dog running around everywhere. She didn't have much. She had maybe a gallon of milk in her fridge. But guess what? That's facts, okay? And a hookah on the top of it. I was like, that's nasty. I don't know what that is.
Don't tell that one.
Okay. But I remember thinking, like, okay, I don't care what she has vision. This girl's going places, you know, and I'm going places. So how about we go places together? So that vision really, like.
And we both come from relationships where his ex did not have a vision and my ex did not have a vision. So when we met, we're like, where have we been all along, right? In each other's lives. So we were just so excited, you guys. And another thing is just like, okay, so I didn't know that what I was doing was visualizing. You guys, I didn't know I was doing a lot of things. I was basically what you call ignorance on fire, you know? And so I would walk every single day these model homes. It was hilarious. It was actually hilarious. Every day
they knew her in there.
After work, I would just go and walk it, and it was the same house. I would walk it over and over, and like Barry, which became my my real estate agent, he was like, hi, Eliana, it's you again. He's like, so listen, are you like a real estate agent, or like, what are you doing here every day? And I'm like, I'm just seeing the house I'm going to buy. Like, I'm going to buy this house and I got to make plans in it. And I would tell them about all this stuff. And then I would also blitz them. And it was hilarious. Now that I look back, I feel like, dang, that's hilarious. But anyways, I was visualizing, you guys, and I was really going there, and I would just like visualize my office. I would visualize my master room, and I knew that I was going to buy that house, but you guys, I didn't know how soon I was going to buy it. So when I hustled my butt at that job, and when I hustled at Works and I went double diamond, I literally made all the money that needed for that down payment, you guys. I put a down payment of $21,000 and I bought my house. I remember telling my mom, I'm going to go buy the house. And she's like, what? You're crazy. And then I went by myself, signed all the paperwork, and I was like, Mom, I bought the house. And then Cesar came back from the tour in Mexico. And I was like, hey, guess what? I bought the house. And he's like, what?
I was like, what?
So, and then on top of that, we were waiting for it to be built and all that stuff. And by the time it got built, you guys, because it was brand new construction, 5-bedroom home, I was this single girl still, because even though he had not asked me to be his girlfriend officially, and
You're my girlfriend, no?
somewhere along there, I became.
Oh, we know the real story.
That's a whole different one. Just never mind. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, she knows the real story.
Yeah, the first night. Anyway, okay. I had to really make sure he was the one, if you know what I'm saying. This is getting awkward.
It's fine. It's fine. The ladies wanted him. The guys wanted you. You just had to make sure it was right.
Literally LMAO. Okay. So then I got the house keys, you guys, May 5th. And May 8th, I quit my job. And I remember telling him, like, I quit my job. I'm so excited. I'm at home now. He's like, you better go back to that job because you have a $2,000 mortgage.
When she got the mortgage and she's like, guess what? I bought the house and I quit my job. I was like, what? I was like, hold up. Like, you're still on time. Get that job. And I was like, it's cool that you're making the side income hustle, but don't quit your job. Like, you got a mortgage now. You know what that is? And she was like, no, my business is taking off and it's plan A and no plan B. Like, plan A, it is what it is.
That's another thing, you guys. I made my plan A the plan A because I made It Works my only plan, what I meant. Because I knew that if I had gotten that far, I knew that I wanted to go all in, full force. And I knew that I was running a risk. Absolutely. I had signed paperwork. I had signed things that said, I would be at that job for 2 years and whatnot. And I was like, peace. And I remember getting, you guys, I haven't talked about this real quick, but I want to just let you guys know, I was ridiculed in front of my job the last few meetings that we had. It was in front of 400 people. And I basically, the managers and the directors of the company basically stood up in the front and they talked about how I was that dumb girl that joined some pyramid scheme and that lost everything, and that I made the stupidest choice buying a house and that I would lose everything. And I remember I was like, wow, I never want to work for a company like this in my life again. And then it fueled me, you guys. And it gave me the fire that I was like, oh no, you think this is BS? Like, let me go show you what I can do with this company. And so I quit that job, you guys, in a heartbeat. I was so gone. And then that's it. I became a full-time business distributor. And I remember I was so excited, you guys. And then, I still had packed up a lot of debt because I gave every ounce that I had for that house. And then I racked up a lot of debt because I still had to furnish my house. And I put a lot up with credit cards and all. And then in that second year, you guys, not second year, but the next year, the following year, Cesar and I got engaged. And then I said, okay, I want to start this relationship with no debt. So I need us to be debt free. I want to have a goal of becoming, having our wedding debt free, everything debt free. So we added everything up. I had $33,000 of debt. And then on top of his debt, he came with the extra, which it totaled to $55,000 of debt, you guys. And I remember I made a game plan because the reason, I forgot to mention, you guys, the reason why I even started It Works was to make a simple $500 a month to get out of debt, because I had so much credit card debt, you guys. I was like up to here with credit card debt to the point where I would get stranded with no gas. I would have to put things back out of my cart because I couldn't afford my groceries. I almost got evicted from my apartment. I literally almost paid I did pay my groceries with the coins I had in my old apartment from like old wallets, old purses, you name it. And I lived some pretty rock bottom situations where I knew that I never in my life wanted to be there again, you guys. I remember literally borrowing, just for anyone that doesn't remember, I would borrow money from all the payday loan centers, you guys, and I would get hit with that 16%. And I remember one time Cesar and I were dating, and I was crying. I was just crying, and I said, I need to go somewhere. I think I was driving or he was driving, I can't remember. And I roll up to a freaking payday loan center, and he's like, why are we here? I was like, oh, well, I need money. Like, I can't afford some things or whatever. And he was like, oh, no. And I was like, well, this is normal to me. I grew up watching my parents do this every Friday, you guys. Like, to me, borrowing money was always a thing. I was never, like, raised saving money. It was always like zeros or negatives. And so to me, seeing as a negative bank account was super normal. Like I'm like, that's normal, you know, I'll just wait for the next paycheck or put it on a credit card. And so I remember, oh man, this is a totally off the subject, but I remember Cesar driving to his Wells Fargo, and he took out money and he gave it to me. And I will never forget that day, you guys, because man, I felt like, first of all, I felt so blessed to have an incredible man like him, because I've never had such an amazing man like him that pushes me to be better, believes in me, helps me in my downfalls, you know, just literally uplifts me and encourages me, and was just my biggest fan and biggest cheerleader, because I had completely the opposite of that, you guys. And it was those things that just started, you know, growing our relationship so much. And I started seeing the heart in him, really. And again, you know, he's such a godly man. He's the one and only man, you guys, that ever brought me closer to God. And that's another reason too. I just knew he was the one, you know, and everything around him, he just radiated so much positivity, you guys. And that's what I wanted. And I knew that he was God sent. And anyway, so I went through a lot of times, you guys, a lot of times. Christy remembers all my ups and downs and stuff, and just money-wise, right? But I knew that the hunger in me, you guys, my biggest fear was staying in those same shoes again, a year from now or the next year or the following year, because that is exactly why that fire, like, just, it fueled me, you guys. I wanted to become successful. I wanted to know what it was like to breathe better at night, to not have debt, to not have to check a freaking negative bank account, or if I can even afford the next thing at the grocery store, or if, oh, you guys know what I hated the most? When the freaking credit card payments would hit and I didn't have the money. So then you get a return, or whatever it's called. It's a fee for, the late fee for $25, or something would bounce back and it was the $35, and now you owe your bank and you owe the freaking credit card more. It was just horrible, you guys. It was horrible. I never want to be in those shoes again. Thank God I'm not. So anyway, that following year when we got engaged and I game planned to become debt free, you guys, that is the reason. I will show you guys the trophy that we got, but I got a notebook, you guys, and I wrote down all of our debt from, you know, JCPenney, Best Buy, you name it. Like, it would say credit card so-and-so, and then the amount of the credit card, whether it was $500, $1,000, $2,000, whatever it was. And next to it, I would put the amount of distributors that I needed to enroll, because I knew I was good at distributors now, and I needed to enroll them, and I needed to earn the fast start bonus on them so that I could pay my credit card and I can continue to grow my paycheck. And I got so focused on paying off my debt, you guys. We paid off all of our debt before our deadline, all of it, $55,000 of debt. And by the time we had paid off all of our debt, you guys, we had charted ourselves presidential. And that was mind blowing. We charted ourselves presidential, and then it works. Mark Pentecost, our CEO, they actually gave this to us. It says 2018 Freedom Award. And we got to go on stage. It was a very, very beautiful moment. We'll never, you know, forget. And we earned this from becoming debt free and just living out that debt free life that our CEO so much instills.
And I remember feeling like we were like drug dealers or something, because we took out the money to go pay off our credit cards that we owed. Like, we literally walked into Chase with like $15K cash. I don't know why we carried it in cash. We probably could have just wired it, but we wanted to see what it even looked like. We never seen that kind of money. So I remember taking out $15K from our bank account, and we went to go to Chase to pay off a credit card. And we're like, oh man, this sucks. Like, we got to give this money away. Which it was never ours to begin with. Like, we owed that money, you know. But I remember walking into Chase and paying off those credit cards. It was like one after the other. And it was completely $55K in cash, and we just paid them all off. And it was like so liberating, because so many times you're in debt and you feel like a knot in your throat. You feel like an extra weight on your back, and you're trying to go uphill, you know, walk up the mountain, but you really have all that weight from all those debt companies, and then they're calling you, and then the interest rates are going up. And I'm glad that we were able to overcome that.
And you guys, it took a lot to be responsible, because when you have that kind of money, we did go on a blow up run. Let me tell you that we went on travel mode like crazy. For those that remember, I remember Christy was like, "You're going to travel again and again and again." It was like, "Well, I'm going to change up my office this weekend," and we would just
Cancun.
In 2 seconds we just purchase we would end up in Cancun the next weekend, and then the weekend after that we would end up in like Playa del Carmen, and we would just try, Jamaica and all this stuff. But we were living it up, you guys, because first we had never seen that kind of money. Second, we wanted to travel before kids came, right? But you guys, it took a lot to pay off all that debt, a lot of responsibility to say like, okay, do we put into debt, or do we really like go and spend it and blow it up on the stuff we want? And it took a lot, you guys, and it's that just stewarding your money right anyway. But okay, so then we paid off everything and stuff, and then we went triple diamond. So with the triple diamond paychecks too, that helped to pay off all that debt. And I remember calling Christy like, "Hey, I just submitted my last payment, which was $14,000. I was bawling my eyes out in the closet of like the feeling of like, dang, I'm debt free. Like, we're debt free. This feels so freaking good." And she was like, go live. And of course, knowing me, I didn't go live because those are like my fears. I didn't go live, and anyway, I'm trying to get over that fear this year. And I actually like now, okay, but before I didn't. And so it was really hard for me to do that. And anyway, so we went triple diamond, we got engaged, all that stuff. We traveled so much, and then the next year, because we were chartered for a trip for presidential, we went presidential, you guys. And goodness, that was like March, I think, of 2017. We hit presidential, and that was insane, you guys, because we had put our wedding aside, planning for the wedding. We had completely put it aside, and we were just laser focused for this presidential, and it happened. And that year, for the first time ever in my dream board, I put that I wanted to become a top 75 income earner. And we actually got announced for the first time ever that year, top 65 income earners of the entire company. And that was mind blowing. And that's that first year. And we've been in the top 100 ever since. And it's been such a blessing. And then of course, presidential, my goodness, that was an insane paycheck. Our first presidential paycheck was like $26,000. And it's just amazing, you guys. At Triple Diamond too, I forgot to mention that I retired Cesar. And that was a big one too, because I remember October 6th. That was the last day he ever went to his job, and he was working for Brioni, which is a very expensive suit company, and he would work retail, you guys, and he would come home and he would still find me in my PJs, still making a lot of money, more than him, and still in my PJs, in my couch, in my phone. And he was like, clearly I'm doing something wrong. And he would just get home so tired. If anyone that knows how retail world is, and it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, so I worked retail. I worked from Coach, then I went to Michael Kors, then I worked my way up to Christian Dior, and I worked for Christian Dior for almost 4 years. And in between that, I got signed to a record label in Mexico, and I was, performing stages. But one of the things that I remember, like, just going to work, and I worked at the Wynn here in Vegas, and then I would perform on the weekends. But I remember going to work, and like, she was just chilling here. Like, she was sitting on the couch with a bun. The women have the buns, maybe about 200 buns on here on live. But so she had the bun going on, and she was in the couch, and I would leave the door, 7, 8 a.m. in the morning, and I would come back, and she was same place, like never even left, never moved, right there with the bun in her iPhone. And she was making double, if not triple, the paychecks that I was making. I was like, okay, hold up, I'm doing something wrong. She's clearly doing something right. And that's when she kept on kind of putting on me like, hey, you know what? How about we do this? Like, let's game plan. Let's do this together. And she kept saying it like, hey, I'm going to bring you home. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. Like, it's gotta be $100,000 for me to come home. I was just so prideful. Like most men, we're not like gonna leave it up to the women's hands to kind of bring me home. I didn't feel comfortable with it. I was my macho in me. You know what I'm saying? But hey, she was killing it. And I just remembered like her finally saying like, hey, okay, we hit that mark. I remember my account grew, I think, to diamond or.
I grew to double, you guys. And then, but really what made it for him is I took him to an event. It was a green carpet. And after that, he was like, holy crap. Now I know why you love this company so much. Yeah. After hearing Mark, after hearing all the stories. And he was like, what can I do to help us get there?
I was like, how do they get up there to the stage? Like, I want us to do that. What do you need me to do? And I'll do it. But let's just get there.
And I remember Christy coached me through a lot of that because I had a hard time letting go of my control because I am a red and I'm a control freak and all that stuff. And I had to let go of that control to allow him to help me in the business when it came to messages, when it came to following, when it came to interaction, when it came to adding to my network. And thanks to Cesar, you guys, we are presidential and ambassador because he came with so much amazing ideas and tips, things that I couldn't see that maybe from a man's perspective or something. But anyway, he became like genius with social media, and he took my account from 6,000 followers to 12,000 followers. And then we just started going ham with messaging, the both of us. I trained him with what I know and what I knew at the time. And then we just started game planning, and then we just hit it. You know, I was focused with the charting, he was focusing with messaging and all the stuff. And together we made an amazing power couple. And then we hit presidential, you guys. And that was freaking awesome. And then of course we had our wedding and our honeymoon, paid in cash and everything. And then the following year, the years after that, they've just been amazing since, you guys. Last year we were able to buy our Chevy Traverse 2019 paid fully in cash. That was amazing. I would have never in my life imagined to buy, you know, or even thought to buy a car completely in cash. You know, the whole traveling's been there and stuff. But now, most importantly, you guys, now that we're parents, we've had this time with our baby girl. We've never missed a single moment with her. It's crazy that I was already set up to be a stay-at-home mom thanks to this business, and him a stay-at-home dad thanks to this business. And now he's been at home for 3.5 years. I've been at home for 5.5 years. But one little decision, you guys, the decision of yes, almost 7 years ago, shaped my entire life, you guys. And because of this business too, sometimes people don't necessarily know this. I don't share it all the time, but I was able to retire my mom for 3 consecutive years with It Works. And my mom still makes an amazing double diamond paycheck every single month. But I was able to retire her, you guys. And it's crazy how God works, because in those 3 years, unfortunately, my mom went through a divorce. And, you know, lots of things happened in my household where it was like, you know, divorce, depression. My mom finds out that, you know, at the time my stepfather was living a double life and stuff. But my mom, had she not had those 3 years where I was giving her that freedom, that financial freedom, she really took the time to be there for my sister, for her to go through this divorce, which is not easy because she lost her house and everything in the midst of all that. And so I lived through a lot of things, you guys. We've gone through so much amazing, incredible success. But now let me touch base on the downs, because here's the part where a lot of people don't know. And a lot of people can easily say like, well, wow, her life is perfect. No, absolutely not, you guys. You know, as soon as we went triple diamond, I find out everything about my stepfather, and the divorce happened. That was as soon as I went triple diamond, you guys. And
it was during our honeymoon, huh?
Yeah, it was actually during a trip that we took after triple diamond. And then, you know, during us getting married, we lived through a lot of like family, just a lot of dysfunctional family issues and stuff. And then just every time, you guys, it's been such a roller coaster. After I had you know, Sophia, I was going on the biggest run, you guys. I was going for that ambassador last year. I really was. We actually ended up so close that we were 22,000 away from hitting ambassador, and I gave up. I gave up completely, A, because I just couldn't push anymore, B, because I wanted to enjoy the last bit of my pregnancy, C, I didn't have enough faith, you guys. I really didn't. I didn't have enough faith, but I do believe that God's timing is perfect, and I do believe that now, this very moment, it is our ambassador team that is completely prepared. We have such an incredible team, and the right ones are here now. And you know what? Those people, some of them were still growing. We were still preparing last year. And so I never questioned God's timing. I'm just so thankful that it was this year. But I remember, just a small part about our personal life with the baby and stuff. For 4 years, I never got pregnant, you guys. And I kept thinking that I was not able to. I kept thinking that maybe I was just not going to end up being a mom. And that was one of my biggest fears. And I remember, you guys, we went to the ribbon cutting for the Latino tour, because I also toured with the It Works company. With It Works about launching the Latino, Latino market and everything, which that was fun. And anyway, I got really close with Cammie and Margarita and corporate. Well, I remember Cammie didn't even know about this, you guys. Cammie Pentecost, daughter of our CEO, she didn't even know about any of this.
This was crazy.
This is so crazy. And this is why I just know I'm here. This is our home. This is just so incredible. We were at a dinner, a private exclusive dinner with Mark Pentecost, with Cindy Pentecost, Margarita, Kyler Pentecost, Cammie, and everybody. And we were celebrating the Latino market launch. And I remember Cammie texts me in the middle of the dinner. She's like pretty much across from me. And she was like, hey, the Lord keeps pointing me at you, and I need to talk to you. I need to pray over you right now. And I was like, right now. I was like in the middle of eating my steak.
Yeah, and she showed me the text, and she slid her phone over to me, and I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at Cammie, and Cammie's like, let's go outside. And I'm just kind of like, she's going to pray for us? Like, we're in the main course. Like, like right now, it's like, it was just so random that she would message us that, like right there,
So random, you guys. And keep in mind, Cami did not know anything. This is why Cami is just so connected, so amazing. I mean, it just gives me chills. But these are the moments that I'll never forget in the company. But I'll never forget these moments with the company and with, who our corporate team is and stuff, which it really just feels like a family. I've never ever felt like, it's corporate. I've always felt like they're family, you guys. They're so welcoming. And it is such a blessing to just be able to be so close to them because of so many special moments. And that's something I'll always be thankful for. But anyway, Cami goes, okay, let's go outside real quick. And she calls Kyler. And then they get together, Kyler and his wife, Christy. And it's just me, Kyler, Cesar, me, Cami. And Kyler Pentecost says, do you believe in miracles? And I was like, yes, I do. And he's like, well, we need to pray for you in your womb. And he was like, and I was shocked, you guys. I almost didn't even know what to say.
We were frozen.
And they all put their hands on my womb. And they asked for Cesar to put his hand on my womb, Christy, Kyler, Cami, and they all started praying.
But Cami basically said before that, she said, the God just keeps pointing me, to you, and God is telling me that I need to pray for your womb and tell you that you are ready to conceive, that your womb is perfectly ready to conceive. Like, she said that out of nowhere. And
she said, I can't keep ignoring it because she said, I was ignoring, but I cannot keep ignoring God's sign. He's just pointing me to you, and I need to pray over your womb. And he wants you to know that your womb is ready and perfectly healthy to conceive.
And at that point, she's crying. I'm like, what? Like, did you tell him anything? Like, how do they even know about this? And we were just shocked that they would even say something like that, and let alone, pray for us. And at that moment, we put our hands in our womb, and Kyler starts, leading the prayer with Cami, and we're just kind of bawling our eyes out.
I didn't even know what to think, you guys. I was so in shock, and man, that moment marked such a big, just something so big in my life and what I feel for It Works in our company. And 6 months after that, I ended pregnant, and it's Sophia.
Yeah.
And so it's so crazy, you guys. And you know what's really, really crazy? That this past conference this year, Kyler pulled Cesar aside, and he was like, you guys, and he actually pulled us both aside, and he was like, you guys, I need you guys to pray for me and Christy because we're having a hard time and we cannot get pregnant. And Cesar was like, what do you mean? Like, you were the one that prayed for us. You were the one that transferred that faith in us. You were the one that believed so strongly that you prayed for our, for my womb. And then we actually got together in prayer and we prayed for them. But you guys, that's the heart of our company. It's just incredible. It's so, so beautiful. So I wanted to just share that moment with you guys. But anyway, we had our daughter and everything was just amazing, incredible. However, I hit postpartum depression afterwards. And that, again, was another roller coaster for me because when I tell you guys that we go through ups and downs, it's not about how many downfalls you go through. It's about how many times you get up and try again. And I've always been the girl that gets up and tries over and over. And I can guarantee you and promise you one thing, I've never quit. Yes, I was distant from Christy at a point where I was so focused at my one job, that timeshare sales agent job, because I thought I was making good money and I started seeing It Works as my side income. But when that quickly went out the window, It Works was instantly like my focus, especially after that one event that Christy invited me to. So what I'm saying is, I went through postpartum depression, and that was crazy because, you guys, I had built all the way up to presidential without being a mom. And I had an entire team full of moms, and I felt so almost like, I think the word is incompetent. I'm not sure if that's the word, but I just felt like I couldn't always relate to my girls. And every time they would come to me with things, I couldn't always have the best words for them because I didn't know what it was like to be a mom. And they felt that too. And so, that was crazy, you guys. But now I'm so thankful to be a mom. I'm so thankful to be able to relate to so many moms out there. But I did go through all of those roller coasters, and God was just preparing me for what he has in store this year and what he's already blessed us with, and for everything that's, that is yet to come. And I'm just so thankful, you guys. We're just doing life, living our life with It Works. And it's been the most incredible journey, you guys. And we just hit ambassador last year. And it's amazing, you guys. Last month. And it's so amazing, you guys. But I think the most incredible thing is truly our team. our team, first of all, we couldn't have never done any of this without them. Like, this is our team's promotion. This isn't my ambassador. This is Team Unstoppable's ambassador promotion. Second of all, our team's faith has grown tremendously. So many people have accepted God in their life for the first time ever this past year, this past month alone. My goodness, that past few years and this past month alone. And it's so incredible that we've taken that decision to just lead with faith with all of our leaders. And it's been the best thing ever, you guys. My faith has grown tremendously. This ambassador has been a test of faith, a testimony of faith. And that alone is just so much to even just share with. But you guys, it is incredible. It's incredible what's happening.
Share within the 3 months, the changes in 3. And,
okay,
and
yes,
this is just,
months.
I want her to share this so that it can inspire you who is listening to this and maybe may see a diamond or double diamond or triple diamond volume kind of crazy for that to happen. I want you to listen to this because this was God moving mountains. This is God and God's favor all over our charts and our business and our team. And this is really God's BV, but I want her to share this because this was so huge for us.
So in January is maintaining my triple. You guys, I had lost my presidential. In February, I was still maintaining my triple. I had lost presidential. And in March, you guys, I got my triple back, and I was at 102,000 in GB. 102,000 in GB. I got my presidential back. And so I was barely maintaining my presidential by 2,000 because you need 100,000 to GV and group volume to maintain your presidential every month. So now I was barely back, and I was like, yes, thank goodness. And then, like, I remember Christy was like, oh, are you going for ambassador? And I was like, girl, I just got my press back. Like, there's no way. And she's like, okay. But I just did not have the faith, you guys. I just didn't. I just kept on seeing it like the biggest mountain ever. And honestly, I'm going to be so honest, you guys. I began thinking that, like, this maybe just, it will eventually happen, but maybe it's just not in the books anytime soon. Because I knew volume was rising from so many other teams, but I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to trust the journey. I'm just going to let it be. But it's not. It really has to come down to, like, that decision. You make the decision, and God will bless you if you put in the work. And so the next month in April, April, we ended the month with 217,000 GB. You guys, that was insane. Our volume went up 115,000 in 1 month. We have never done anything like that in our life, like in our history of
We're like, what?
We're like, what is happening? This is clearly a sign that we're headed to ambassador. I'm not, last year we ended at 222,000. Like, I'm not going to let this happen again. We need 250,000 to go ambassador. Plus we need our team to also rank to the promotions that they need to rank for us to go to ambassador. And so I made the decision, everything aligned, so many Zooms with like Cheyenne Knox and so many people just aligned, and it was just divine appointment after appointment after appointment. And I just started journaling so much, and I started having conversations with God, you guys. But before all that, let me tell you something. My girl, Brenda Lopez, she called me out. And I remember, I think I shared this with you guys maybe a while back, but she called me out. She's like, hey girl, we were doing a one-on-one, like it was just a game plan for her promotion and stuff. She's like, so when are you going ambassador? And I was cracking up. I was like, not anytime soon. She's like, wow, well, that's not our she's like, that's not our leader. She's like, my ambassador leader would be saying something like this and this. And she called me out so bad that I was like, wow, like that is my biggest eye opener ever. And after that same day, I just was bawling my eyes out in the car. And I remember I had like the biggest conversation with God. And I was just like, God, I'm scared. I'm so scared. I'm scared to call it out. I'm scared to tell our team that we're going ambassador. I'm scared to even mention the word, because here's the deal, you guys. I have been talking about ambassador for 5 years, because in 2015, now hence I know I wasn't going to make it in 2015. I had just made that decision. But I kept seeing people go ambassador in 3 years and 4 years and 5 years. And in 2015, God put in my heart that I would be an ambassador diamond. And now it doesn't matter how long it took me, but it would crush my heart every time we would say we're running for it, and every year we would not make it. But it just every year, and you guys, I'm not gonna lie, like it would just, I started not calling it out anymore. I just didn't. I didn't want to put that out there anymore. And I just think about my girl, Kathy Roldan, that she just called out. Oh, Kathy, she just called out so many times. She's going in diamond. She's going diamond. She's going diamond, and she wouldn't make it, you guys. And the next month she would call it out again and call it out, and then she'd be like, guys, we didn't make it, but we're going again. And she just she transferred so much, just so much belief in me that honestly was a huge eye opener for me, because I'm like, no matter what, you got to keep going, you guys. You got to keep going. You cannot give up on your goal. And it's crazy because I have my dream board here from 2015, which is so funny. But 2015, I will be an ambassador. And I remember I kept these dream boards for this very reason, because one day I would be sharing it with somebody, you know, and with all of you guys here. So excited to be sharing that. But yeah, so 2015, I was at Christy's house, and I was saying I was claiming to be an ambassador diamond one day. I just didn't put the date on it. So P.S. put a date, or else you don't know when it's happening. But anyway, so it's just been the most incredible journey, you guys, the most incredible ride, and I'm just so thankful.
And then tell me.
And then last month we ended at 318,000. So our team brought in 101,000 in GB. So that is freaking crazy. So volume, do not ever underestimate your team. Increase your faith. Believe in your team. Believe that they are all equipped to go to the ranks that you need, to go, you know, to the next level. Be just a growth-oriented team. You know, we've always been like a goal-oriented team, I would say, because we would hit a goal and people would get so down that they didn't hit it. But really, I really want to instill the growth-oriented culture now, which comes from the book Leadership, which is just growing your mindset, growing your faith, and that will all take you to the goals that you all need to meet.
Yeah, and let me just share a few tips that, if possible, write them down. One is God's timing is always right. And maybe you already know that, maybe you already feel that, but it's so true. I mean, to look back, my dreams have always been to be, you know, on stages with the microphone. And I grew up singing, you know, in so many stages. And, you know, God's timing is always right. Who would have known that I got off of playing and performing in local stages, but God put me in arenas, okay? I've been in front of an arena at the Amalie Arena in conference in front of 20,000 people. So who would have thought that a local singer from Las Vegas, you know, would end up there? And then the second thing is that, so we use the prayer of Jabez. Prayer of Jabez was so big for us during this last run for ambassador. I mean, we literally put it on our screensavers, on our phones, and everywhere in the house we put, "We are ambassador, May 31st, 2020. It was everywhere, literally in front of my desk, her desk, around the house, in front of our mirror when we brush our teeth in the morning. Like, it was everywhere. And we would pray the prayer of Jabez. It's actually, it's free. The audible version is free on YouTube, but it was so big for us because we just had to keep asking God every day, God bless us with more. God bless us with more. And it was just like, at a certain point in your business, you might hit a comfort zone. And that comfort zone for us was presidential. We got comfortable there, you know, and I can't say that we didn't want more or aspire to be more, but we got comfortable there. You know, we've never seen those kind of paychecks, and we got comfortable there. But we are so blessed to have an amazing leader like Christy and Aaron, that they were striving for more and more and more. And going to that double ambassador, I'll never forget what Mark said. Mark Pentecost said, "You will make an average of the 5 people you hang around with the most." And I know Christy has mentioned this too, but this is so true. Who are those 5 people in your circle? Are those 5 people bringing you down? Like, here comes another part. What advice are you taking in? Like, the cup that is feeding you, who is that cup? And pay like close attention to this part, because either you're hanging out with those 5 people that are raising you up and making you level up, or you're hanging around with those 5 people that is keeping you stagnant. Okay? That circle that, you know what? I remember hearing this statement that, why would you take advice from people who are not where you want to be? I'm going to repeat that. Why would you take advice from people who are not where you want to be? Right? Like, I don't go for like accounting advice to my broke uncle. You know, like, why would you? You know, or or someone, let's just say like some mechanic issues for my car. Why would I ask my neighbor that doesn't even own a car? Like, just, does that make sense? Don't go to advice to those people who are not where you want to be. So when you look to level up, look for a Christy Christensen. That's who I want in my circle. Yes. Shoot, she's my neighbor. Like, that's where I'm at. You know, I talk to Aaron and Christy, and they're just such an inspiration to us. They are our mentors. And I look for them, and I'm always like constantly trying to learn from them. Why? Because I want to level up. That's where I want to be. That's where we're going. You know, like, I'm looking to always level up, and I'm so blessed and grateful to have friends that push me to level up. So remember, if you don't have those friends pushing you to level up, then change your circle. And please listen to me when I say this, because that has been key on us going ambassador. We have friends that make us level up. So I'm sorry, but those stinking friends, they're not going to take you nowhere. And you know what? And that's been hard for me in the past too, because I have friends that I grew up with, and it's just like, you know what, you gotta start hanging out with the friends that are gonna level you up, and that are gonna pour nothing but positivity, optimism into you, you know. And that's been super key. You have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to add why we got complacent, you guys. So, and I'm just gonna talk about the money real quick. So, when we've always been blessed to have big paychecks. You know, at Triple Diamond, we were making $18,000 a month. At Presidential, we were making $30,000 a month. Our biggest presidential paycheck, you guys, mine alone was $42,000, and with Cesar's that month, we hit a $54,000 paycheck. And I'm not gonna lie, that made us extremely complacent. And I remember telling Christy, like, girl, I'm gonna stay here. Like, I'm cool. I'm good. Like, I'll just, I'll hit ambassador later. But we're just really happy and content with our money. But that's one of the biggest things that can honestly like keep you so stagnant, you guys. Because here's the thing, ambassador was absolutely not about the money. It was more than anything. It was about showing our team that we're capable so that they're also capable. When Christy went ambassador, I just knew, I'm like, yes, I can do this too. Now she's double ambassador. Now she's number 3 in the company. I'm like, yes, girl, I'm going to be right behind you. Wait for me. I'm just one ambassador away. You now just like, she took a train and she went 1,000,000 miles per hour, you guys.
Hey, she
I'm over here like,
new
hold
standards.
on, still got to open my 2.0. But she set some crazy high standards, you guys. And we've always looked up to Christy and to Aaron, and we're just so blessed to have them as leaders because they paved the way for all of us. So I remember journaling, you guys. I remember one of my last pages that I journaled, I said, Lord, I've always prayed for a team, our team Unstoppable to be filled with ambassador diamonds. But how can I pray for ambassador diamonds if I'm not one yet? And I was like, Lord, please just guide me, teach me, give me the wisdom, the creativity, the patience also. Help me, teach me how to lead your people so that I can also show our team that we're able to be ambassadors so that they can also believe that they're able to be ambassadors themselves, And so I needed to, more than anything, pave the way for our team. And here's another thing that really, really touched me, and it made me feel very uncomfortable. This past month, you guys, I was listening to a podcast, and it says, if you're still talking about your success that happened 5 years ago, like, it's time for your new success. So I've been talking about Presidential 3 years ago, and that's cute and all. But last year we went, Cesar went Triple Diamond. But what I mean is, like, we kept on talking about the success that we had 3 years ago. And I was so craving that next success, that next story, that next opportunity to be able to be here on Zoom and sharing you guys that next level up, So that's another thing, you guys. Like, you cannot get complacent, or you'll be talking about the same thing over and over and over again. So now, more than anything, like I said, it's just paving the way for our team, and just now, of course, being able to open our 2.0, which I'm so excited about. But lastly, you guys, goodness, I feel like I've been talking forever. Here's the thing, you guys. I've gone through 1,000,000 no's, through so much rejection. So many freaking people have left me on scene, still do all the time. I've had people block me. I've lost friends along my journey. I've had so many people talk crap about me. I've had people tell me that I'm a joke, that I really don't own this house, that I actually go and take pictures at a hotel room. I've had people tell me, like, if you got all this money, then why aren't you flying first class? Like, I've had some nasty comments, you guys. I've been through disappointments. I've been through feeling unworthiness. I've been through feeling like I can't, like defeated. I remember the lowest part, like the lowest time where I really just felt so defeated, you guys, was when I was going through postpartum. I just kept saying, like, I can't do this. But then I'm like, Lord, I have a whole team of moms. Like, now I got to look to my team and see how they're doing it. And I started asking my girls, how are you doing it, girl? How are you doing it? How are you doing it? Because all you guys have kids, and I'm barely starting. So I had to learn how to be a business owner and a mom for the first time ever this past year and this year alone, because now Sophia's 11 months. She's about to be 12. She's about to be 1 year old this month. But I just want you guys to know that it's not been easy whatsoever. It is the mistakes that I've made that have given me the wisdom, because I've made so many mistakes, you guys. And I'm talking about leadership mistakes. I'm talking about all kinds of mistakes I've made. But not once have I quit. Not once have I said, this is no longer for me. I have always strived to be better. I've always strived to learn. Yes, I'm extremely stubborn. Christy can tell you guys that all day long. I am a super stubborn girl, but I'm always open and ready to learn more. And I got to humble myself you guys, when you humble yourself and you are vulnerable in front of your team about the stuff that you go through and the downs that you've lived through, you give them a stage for them to also be vulnerable, and you give them the space for them to also feel like, yes, we're all normal human beings. Like, you're not just this, like, all of a sudden this perfect person, because I'm nowhere near perfect, you guys. But I just want you guys all to know that we've gone through so much things. And I'm just really the girl that never gives up. That's all I am. I'm the girl that I will never give up. This is my flag is beyond planted. And I am here for all the stuff, for the freedom, for the people, for the team, for the bettering everyone's life, for empowering women and empowering couples to build a legacy that I can eventually give to our kids, and just to continue to have the most incredible life with God always on our side, and to have the best and most amazing friendships. So thank you so much, Christy, because you have just changed our life more than you could ever imagine. And I don't think I ever even tell you this enough, girl, but my goodness, like you guys mean so much to us. Like, and even you guys, just so you all know, Christy and I have bumped heads sometimes. We absolutely have in our past, in our almost 7-year journey. We're both very red. We're both very stubborn. We just have both this strong character, but always looked up to her. She's an incredible leader. I wouldn't be here without her. And I'm just so thankful and just proud, really proud to be in this team. So we love you.
Oh, you guys are going to make me cry. Oh, well, we love you too. And you know what? Some people were asking some husband questions, but I don't know if Cesar wants to answer that.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it just takes two, you guys. Sometimes your husband doesn't actually work the business, but sometimes he does.
Yeah. So I don't know what the questions might be. Maybe I'll scroll up, or if you want to ask me them, I'm happy to share them. But let me just begin to say one thing. The most important thing when it comes to husbands. One, this goes for all the women that unsupportive husbands, because they're out there. I see them. They could probably hear the Zoom in the back of the room, right? Don't worry about that. Show them the paycheck. You get there to diamond, get there to double, and then let the numbers speak for themselves. Because Eliana was never one to talk about it. She was about to be about it. She was all about being about it. So she showed me with facts. She said diamond, she was diamond. She said double, there was a 10K check, and there were hard, real numbers, and no man could say no to that. I was like, whoa, so that just goes to you can say to your husband, you know what? You don't have to believe in it works if you don't want to at the time being, but believe in me. So give me that opportunity to prove to you that I can make this happen. So that goes for the women that have the unsupportive husbands. Like, they don't have to believe in the company, but have them believe in you. That's it. Support me, and then I'll show you what I can do with this business. And then put your put your blinders on and get to work, because you can get to that diamond, that double, that triple. And I promise you, once he sees those numbers, oh, trust me, he's going to be like, okay, what do I put the ring on? What I got to do? Now, I'm sorry. What other questions?
Someone asked, what's your role? Like, what do you do in the business? Because you do help. Yeah.
So let me begin by saying also that every man in the business is going to be different, right? And I've actually had a Zoom about this with the guys in my team, and talking about using your strengths, you applying your strengths. For example, myself, I love social media. I actually do love, I learned early on how to grow like an Instagram, my Facebook, because I used to do it for myself, for my music career. I used to try to grow my Instagram followers and things like this. Little did I know that I would be applying it, to one, Eliana's Instagram, later to grow my Instagram. And then what I did along the journey, so early on, what I would do is I would help her with her messages. She had a lot of, messages coming in because we were growing her. At first, I was just liking, following, and commenting on her behalf, because at first she's like, look, I need to get to, to 10,000 followers, and this is what I got to do. And I was like, well, here, I'll take that over, and maybe you do the messages, and then you do the team, So I started helping growing her social media. That's where I started first. That was something that wasn't so hard that I could just like, follow, and comment, and I would be like, hey, girl, you're so beautiful, LOL. I learned all that, and that's what I started with. I started just helping her. I was like, hey, you tell me what I can do to help you, because I was all about it. I was like, hey, how do we get on stage? If I got to send all these LOLs and kissy faces, I'll do it all day long. So you tell me what I got to do. That's my red in me, right? And that's what I started with. I started helping her grow her social media.
Just so you guys know, he went ham growing
Yeah.
on social media. So every hour, on the hour, he would put an alarm clock and he would go and follow 50 and unfollow 50. Okay,
Yeah.
just if you guys want more details with that. And he just took that account to 12,000 followers, and then the messages started pouring in. But he was like, "Hey, gorgeous! Oh my gosh, cute baby! Oh, girl!" Like all this stuff. He just knows. He knows how to do it.
Yeah. So I just kind of became a master in that area. I guess that was just my arena at the time. And little by little, our team started to grow, and she's like, "Hey, look, I'm gonna go train the team. Can you help me with these messages?" And I started helping her with messages.
Let's be honest, Christy told me to do it because I remember I did not want him to message people, you guys. I had the biggest,
she hated it.
I was like, no, there's no way you're going to message my potentials. I need to get to know them. I need to do
But her
that.
inbox was like 100 messages, and she didn't have the time for it. She was like, I'll get to it. And she wouldn't answer the messages.
And Christy, until this day, my inbox is beyond full, you guys, but which is a blessing. Cesar calls them high-class problems, but at the same time, like, they are blessings, but it kills me inside because I have an answer to a lot of people, right? And so I remember Christy was like, listen, you need to stop that controlling self of yours. And she was like, you need to give Cesar the job of answering your DMs. And with that came a lot of issues. Like, he would message somebody that was already a customer, or he would message somebody that was already a distributor and stuff like that. So then I quickly had to get over that, and that would make us fight, and there was stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then he started taking over, you guys. And here's the thing. You got to let go of some, and I don't know who needs to hear this, but you got to sometimes let go of some of the control. And I mean this in every area of maybe even your business, letting your leaders take the wheel and lead. Because when you take the control off, right, and you let others take control, you are able to grow your business.
That's how you scale.
That's how you scale.
Yeah. So I started helping out with messages. And once I got the rhythm of things, I was like, I'm going to open up my own Instagram. And so I have my personal Instagram, but at the time they launched Keto Coffee. And I remember they launched the whole keto line. This was back in 2017, I believe, 2018. So I remember saying like, okay, I'm going to open up a keto Instagram, just strictly about keto recipes, tips, things like that. And that's what I did. Well, that little account that I started grew to 317,000 followers. And who knew that was going to blow up? And it blew up. But I was posting content from other keto pages and stuff like that. And in one of those, I got flagged that I shared a picture from this blogger. She got mad. She reported me, and they freaking Instagram took down that Instagram. They took it away from me. I was crying. I wasn't crying, but I was really upset. I cried internally. But anyways.
I cried.
Yeah. They took it away. And from there, I would message. I would get a lot of customers. I would get distributors. And now I have another, I did it all over again, a keto page in Spanish. And right now that account is at about 110,000 followers. That's my personal Instagram that I use. And I get a bunch of customers. Last month I got about 30, and I get distributors as well. So little by little, I started helping as well with training the team, like some, one-on-one with team members. And then I started calling my own personal contacts, my friends, my surroundings, for example, I reached out to this incredible friend of mine, Ari, and I hit her up. I said, hey, amiga, this is the time. And she joined the business, and man, she's freaking killing it. Her and Lisette, and, congrats to all the team. But man, she's freaking on fire. And I'm glad that she was able to, take that leap of faith. But it comes down to that. I use my contacts, my leverage, and I put my strengths, which is social media. But quickly, Christy, talking back into the husbands and what else they can do. Guys, this is a multi-million-dollar business, okay? In a multi-million-dollar business, there is departments. There is retention of customers. There is so many departments here that you really need a game plan with your husband and say, hey, look, maybe you're better at the numbers or understanding this comp plan. How about you take that on, and I'll take care of the messages in my team, or figure out what works best for you, but find the strengths. Gentlemen, find your strength and apply it in the business and link arms. Because once you guys realize that you guys can be making $50,000, $70,000, $80,000 from a business like this without having to pay a building, without having to pay employees, without having to pay an overhead, without having to pay all these things that come from maybe owning a franchise or whatever, guys, we have a multi-million-dollar business and we don't have an overhead. We don't pay this ridiculously crazy, rent for a building. No, we don't do that. We work from home. Like, come on, guys. So, gentlemen, whatever you guys have to do, get your head in the game, because man, it's here. And if you guys ever need tips from me personally, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help.
And you guys, I wanted to mention real quick, So Lizette, she's a brand new diamond. Ari Martinez enrolled her, and Ari is the girl that Cesar reached out to, that they knew each other back in the day from like high school. Anyway, they're big time YouTubers, and she came in in 4 months she went double diamond. This past month she went double diamond, and her husband went diamond, and underneath her husband she had placed Lizette, which she went diamond, and now they're both going triple this month. But now let me tell you guys something about Lizette. So Lizette, she went diamond last month, and and she enrolled 110 loyal customers.
Yeah. Oh.
Now, her and her husband,
Conrad,
they got together, you guys, and they made a system. So what that looks like is, she threw up a post, and it freaking blew up, you guys. It had so many comments, and he would message them, and she would close them. So you guys, like, that's what they found. You guys gotta find what works for you. For them, that's what they found. Conrad's incredible at answering the messages for host to post. His jam is host to post, and Lizette closes these deals, and she's able to bring in that amount of customers. So that's incredible.
Yeah.
And they really early on caught that vision. So you guys really just have to see, what your husband's strengths are, and then just play around with it, you guys. It's all about trying what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
But here's another thing I did want to mention. It takes two, you guys, to go ambassador. It took so much. And even not even ambassador. Last year, our biggest run too, and him going, triple, and just so many things, right? It takes two. And here's what I mean by that. When I was working my butt off, you guys, last month for ambassador, and I was messaging, I was doing one-on-ones, I was doing trainings, I was doing coachings, I was, pouring fire into our girls, into our leaders, into our teams. He would be there bathing Sophia, giving her food, giving her last bottle. Sometimes I didn't get to kiss Sophia goodnight, In the mornings, he would wake up early, and he would take over, and he would take care of Sophia, and he would give her first feeding and give her oatmeal and stuff, because I was still trying to sleep, because I would go to sleep literally at 3 or 4 a.m. So it works different for everybody, you guys. Like, my schedule isn't going to fit some of you guys' schedules. Christy's life's way different. She went double ambassador in her car. You got to do what you got to do, you guys. And here's one thing. Everyone, mark my words, everyone will have to sacrifice something, because there is absolutely no success. Hear me out, guys. There is no success without sacrificing something. I have sacrificed sleep. I have sacrificed time and cuddles, cuddle time with my daughter, feedings with my daughter. Thankfully I was able to have my mom help us during Ambassador Month, and she was able to take over a lot of the times, for like even helping us cook, helping us with the house, helping us with my baby girl, and we were able to both go ham in the business. But you guys, everyone's life is different, and you have to really ask yourself, what are you willing to give up the month that you're willing to run for your biggest run ever? What are you giving up? Is it the Netflix? Is it your sleep? Is it your date night? Is it your, a little bit of time with your kids? Because here's the deal. You're going to get a lifetime with them. You're going to give them a life of so much quality. And I'm sorry, but she's not going to remember right now, even though she's 11 months, whether I was there feeding her first or last bottle or not, because she's going to remember that I've always been there every single second of her life, and I've never had to go to a job, neither has Cesar. And I will be the mom that gets to go to every event of hers, that gets to be there 24/7 with her, that gets to not miss a single moment with her because of this business. So you have to realize, what are you willing to give up, and what are you willing to sacrifice for a short period of time, for a lifetime of happiness, and a lifetime that so many people are not going to get to live. Because the reality is that we are not normal, so we do not have a normal life. Stop trying to have a normal life if you're trying to be an incredible, successful person and it works. We are not normal people because we do not do normal things, you guys. And the faster that you realize that you are here to do the unthinkable, the things that people can't even fathom of, is the faster that you're going to realize what this business is what is in your hands, and you're going to go on the biggest run ever of your freaking life, you guys.
Yes, guys, that's the Escobar coming out. You guys know Pablo Escobar? Okay, she's Colombian. Look, I just want to say this, guys. I'm so blessed for sometimes the smallest things. Like, we literally still wake up every morning and like pinch me. Like, we are dreaming. Like, we're still here waking up together without having to go to a job. It's been more than 3 or 4 years. So, guys, blessed for the small things. Like, we haven't looked at our bank account to go grocery shopping since I can't even remember when. Like, those little small things that we're so blessed for, and I'm just saying, it's so worth it. It's worth the sacrifice. Yes, it will be a sacrifice, like she's saying. Like, we had to give up some nights, some date nights of being together. maybe me having to wake up early, change the diapers, take care of the baby. But guys, it's worth it, because the quality of life that we're going to give to my daughter, the options, you know, to choose what school we're going to take her to choose what house we want her to live in, what neighborhood we want her to live in. Like, it's worth it, guys. So put your excuses aside. Trust me, we all have all those excuses, but get rid of them. I'm telling you, those are not going to pay your bills. Get focused. You guys have the biggest opportunity, and it could change your life. And not just your life, it could change your legacy to leave something for your kids, okay? It's crazy, but I'm
Mark
just
our
blessed.
words, we will be the first millionaires in our entire family.
That's guaranteed.
Both of ours. There's not one millionaire in my family or his family.
I have one of those big Mexican families where, like, every guy with a mustache is my cousin, my uncle. I have one of those families, okay? I got a big family. But I'm going to be the first millionaire in my family, and I'm declaring that, because there hasn't been that. And I'm going to change the legacy of our family forever. Why? Because of this business. So,
and it's not the money, you guys. I want you all to understand this. It is how, if you set a standard so high, you give people the opportunity to believe that they can too. That's really what it is. That's truly what it is. So I'm just so excited, so honored to be here. And thank you all so much for listening to our story, which was, goodness, an hour and 18 minutes long. And thank you guys so much. And just so happy.
No, I love it. I love you guys. You're amazing. I didn't even have to talk. Aaron's over here. And when I said, like, you know, like, some husbands work it and some people don't. And he's like, wow. But Eliana is right, you guys. It takes two. We will try to set up a husband Zoom, but I want you guys to know it's never good to force your husband to want to work this business. Aaron, at one point, he did want to try, but it just didn't work with our family. 4 kids. Who takes care of the kids? We couldn't do it. And so you kind of just have to figure out what works for you. And some of you guys were asking, well, how does Cesar grow his network? How does Cesar grow his network? And I truly think it's because Instagram wants natural value. And when you give value, you'll get natural followers. But if you guys want to grow your Instagram followers, just Google how to grow Instagram followers, and YouTube's will pop up all over the freaking place. Be resourceful, but I don't want to take away from everything. Eliana's over there like spitting fire, and Cesar's like, ooh. That's all I can think about now, because he's like, it's sexy. I'm like, yeah, it is, you guys. Like, a woman who knows what she wants, well, even a man who knows what he wants, like, this business will change you from the inside out. Period. End of story. And you don't have to see the top. You know, Eliana, she did see the top. She had ambassador. She saw it. But I want you guys, they saw paying off the debt. And because they did the steps to pay off the debt and did the work to pay off the debt, then they went presidential. And it was the next step, you guys. You just had to take the next step. You want to say something? Let me unmute you. Hold on. She's not done. But I also feel like there's someone behind me. Is there a person behind me?
Sorry, guys. I just really want to say something really quick about mindset. So, like we always say, it's your mindset that takes you there. And I really needed to level up my mindset and my faith for us to go ambassador. That was an absolute, like, non-negotiable. And now that I am, you guys, like, my goodness, I just feel, I see the power in that. And I feel that I need to go and you know, spend more time with God and spend more time bettering my mindset, because I know that it's my faith and my mindset that could take me to levels that I can't even imagine possible right now. So more than ever before, you guys, I am so excited about reading. I just got a book right now. It's called, I just got it at Target the other day. It's called Dare to Lead, which I know it's very recommended by a lot of ambassadors. And it talks about leading with vulnerability. That's what you say. Such a tongue twister. And just, it's all about leadership. But I'm so excited. I'm just so excited to dive into more self-development, to just really increase my faith and my mindset just as a couple, and not just business-wise, you guys. I'm talking about every area of your life, finances, marriage, you know, parenting, you name it, because I really do want every part of my life to get better. But because I want every part of my life, you do have to dedicate every part of your life a little something, right? Whether it's a book about marriage, a book about, you know, parenting, a book about so many different things. This last post of mine, if anyone goes and sees my last post, a lot of people were sending so many messages and calling me, and even our family was a little worried about me because I posted about how we've just had a few stressful days these last few days with Sophia, and you know, her throwing tantrums and things like that, and us as new parents, we just don't know how to handle it. And so it puts it puts some stress on our marriage. And then we were, you know, kind of arguing and stuff for the last few days. But thank God we have God in our life, you guys. God has always been the center of the center of our marriage, the center of our life. And I remember I was just crying to Cesar the other day, like, babe, how can I get us to do this? How can I get us to, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And I was just sitting there praying. And I prayed a couple of nights, like, just like, Lord, please give me the patience. Please give me the wisdom, direct my steps, and, you know, teach me how to be a better mother, a better wife. And not only that, but if I'm not okay, you know, if my mindset's not okay, if my home is not okay, I can't be a good leader. I can't be a good business owner, because frankly, you know, this is my number one, my family and my, you know, at home. And I need to be good too. And I'm not saying I got to wait to be in a better mindset to tackle on my business. It's not that, but we do need to focus on those certain areas, you guys. And you got to just realize what areas need work, you know? And so we just want to be vulnerable. We want to be open with our audience and with our team too, that even if you're an ambassador diamond, you guys, we struggle through normal day-to-day stuff like any other marriage, I'm sure, like any other newly parent. And we just like to be open, because we don't ever want to show that this is like perfection or anything like that. No, we go through stuff just like anybody else. But with God and with patience and with His grace, we're able to just continue on. And, you know, God gives us every day a renewal, and we're able to just start fresh and stuff. So I'm just so thankful to have God more present in my life than ever before, because I know that I would be so lost without Him. My marriage wouldn't be where it's at without Him. My parenting, my leadership, my business, my finances, my family, all that stuff. I swear, you guys, you know, the glory is all His, because I feel like that's why we are where we are, because God has blessed us so much, but because we've always included Him in our life, and He is the center of it, and continues and will always be.
You're amazing. And you guys, like, we all want our whole team and everyone to come into our business to literally have it all. And that's literally what she's saying. You know, it's about being vulnerable and also taking care of everything, because you got to take care of yourself to take care of everything else. So, all right. Thank you guys so much. You're amazing. Congratulations, Ambassador freaking Diamonds. I'm so proud of you. You claimed it and you visualized it, and you guys worked your freaking butts off. And we know, you know, everybody knows it took a team, but I am so proud of you guys for sticking to that vision and holding it true and just freaking racing after it. So why don't you guys all give them a little bit extra little congratulations in the chat, because this is 5 years coming. And I'm so proud of you guys, and we will see you later. And let's make this month bigger than any other month before. Okay, bye.